Good morning. It is Monday, November 10th. I'm Whitney Turner. Thank you for joining us for Catch Up Quick, WVLT's daily fastcast, airing 10:30 in the morning, Mondays through Fridays. Well, extreme cold, brutal wind chills, even snow are all on the table as an Arctic blast works its way through East Tennessee. Warming centers across Knoxville are working to make sure those in need have a warm place to stay. Knox Area Rescue Ministries is expanding shelter capacity. They've added about 40 beds to hold about 370 people. The Salvation Army is also adding more space. They recently added 40 beds to their shelter and 4 more family rooms.
People are having a hard time keeping up with their homes and apartments because the food costs or their anxiety about some of the things that are happening in the government. It just causes them great concern.
If you are in need of a place to go when it gets cold, we've got information for you now inside the WVLT News App. And with the cold air, some of you may be turning to space heaters to help heat your home. Right now, fire departments are reminding you they're a common source of fires, and you should keep furniture and flammable objects at least 3 feet away from them.
The best fire is that fire that never happens, that fire that we can prevent. So that's the reason it's so important just to pay attention for these few simple, basic fire safety rules and just try to abide by them.
He says even when his firefighters are able to minimize the damage, these fires still take up manpower and tie up resources. Newfound Gap Road and the Roaring Fork Motor Trail are currently closed. Park officials are announcing the closures because of the winter weather. The park says it's going to check on the conditions this morning. They'll decide whether or not to reopen the roads or keep them closed when the weather passes. Of course, as we deal with this cold weather, we've got a list of resources for you, warming shelters and updates on any school closures inside your WVLT News app. Knoxville Police Department is investigating after they say a teen was shot Friday evening. KPD says the shooting happened just before 6 in the 400 block of Taylor Holmes Road. Their officers say they found a 14-year-old boy behind an apartment. They say he had a gunshot wound to his leg. He was taken to UT Medical Center for treatment. Right now, investigators are working to find out how the teen was shot. We'll keep you updated as we get more information. And officials in Hawkins County are investigating a shooting after deputies say they found a man dead Friday afternoon. Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson says it happened in the Christians Bend area just after 4 o'clock. Deputies found the victim shortly after. Lawson says everyone involved has been identified, but the victim's name has not yet been released. Lawson says the investigation is still ongoing. Meanwhile, 1 person is dead, 2 others are in critical condition after a medical helicopter crashed in Lebanon, Tennessee, Saturday afternoon. Vanderbilt University Medical Center released a statement on the crash saying in part they were, quote, deeply saddened to confirm the incident involved one of their life flight helicopters with 3 crew members on board. One of those members lost their life. The other 2 are in critical condition, currently being treated at the University Hospital, but luckily no patients were on the helicopter at the time.
It's just crazy to think that actually happened in like our backyard. I mean, I just can't believe it happened. The helicopter, it's sitting on its side, like almost rolled over. It didn't catch on fire or anything. Like it wasn't burning, but it did have a lot of damage. You can tell it wrecked.
The FAA and the NTSB will lead the investigation into what caused the crash. Well, if you thought East Tennessee was getting a little crowded, apparently we ain't seen nothing yet. Knoxville is expected to be one of the most popular cities to move to next year. At least that's what a new study by Move Buddha says. They predict for every person moving out of Knoxville next year, 1.6 people will be moving in. That puts Knoxville at the top of the list for the most popular cities to move to. The city says the cities near the top of the list either contain a university, a mid-sized city, or located in the South, and Knoxville meets all 3 of those categories. But it isn't the only Tennessee city on the list. The study predicts Nashville will be the 16th most popular city to move to next year. You can find the full list and more information inside your WVLT News app. Right now, underneath the leaf litter, the Lone Star tick is waiting for its next prey. And if it bites you, experts say it could change your life in more ways than one.
Now I have to be very, very aware of ingredients at restaurants, and I have to make sure that I actually say that I have a red meat allergy instead of just saying, hold the bacon on it. I have to clearly say no red meat.
Coming up tonight at 6 and streaming live in your WVLT News app, I'll be taking a deeper dive into what alpha-gal syndrome is, who's at risk, and how you can protect yourself.
And now, your first alert forecast with meteorologist Belle Oliver.
Well, it's a WVLT First Alert Weather Day for this cold and chilly weather, but we have just got some stunning views across Ober Mountain at Gatlinburg. Lots of those snow flurries falling down. Even have a few folks out there trying to see the sights there. It is just a gorgeous view, and this is where we expect most of this snow to be, into the Smoky Mountains today. But we could see a few more flurries looking towards this afternoon and into the evening hours. But a very chilly day on this Monday, and we'll see temperatures only top out into the middle 30s by this afternoon. So here's a look at where that snow is right now. Newport picking in on a few of those flurries back down towards Gatlinburg, Kewohee, even down towards Cades Cove as well. So definitely some exciting stuff with this snow. Kind of looking at the bigger picture here, notice we have maybe a few more flurries starting to work through across the Cumberland Plateau. Again, the trouble is we don't have a lot of ground truth unless we see some pictures and some video cameras. So if you have any photos today to share from this snow event, make sure to send those over. Now, some new updates for you today. We have been put into a winter weather advisory. That's all of us in that white color and that white shading. And notice where we have that pink color is that winter storm warning. That'll go through Tuesday morning, and that winter weather advisory goes through 7 o'clock tonight. So just kind of putting that out there that we could see an additional flurry here too as we move through the rest of your Monday. So let's time this out for your future cast. I think after lunch today and into the early afternoon, we could see a few more of those flurries start to pick up over the Cumberland Plateau, and then more kind of coming into the mountains by that 5 o'clock hour. And then it looks to build in once again towards Monday night, 9 o'clock, building once again over the mountains. And then we slowly start to clear out heading into the overnight hours and waking up on Tuesday morning. Nice and dry, but definitely cold for your Tuesday. So kind of looking at the snowfall totals here, here's the big picture. The mountains probably picking up most of that snowfall, anywhere between 2 to 4 inches. The higher up you go, though, we're talking the peaks of the mountains like Mount LeConte, Kewohee, places like that, possibly could see up to 7 inches, maybe even a foot of snow from this event. So some crazy stuff there. Towards the Cumberland Plateau, maybe a dusting, possibly even up to 1/2 of an inch, maybe even 1 inch in some spots. Here in the valley, we could see a few flurries, but because the roads are still relatively warm, we were in the upper 60s just a couple days ago. Nothing's going to be sticking there, but it could be poor visibility, especially with the breezes later on this afternoon and evening. So just be careful on the road. So yes, it is very cold out there. If you've not stepped outside today, look at our feels like temperatures. A lot of us feeling like the teens and into the 20s. Those are our wind chills. So if you're heading out for the rest of your Monday, you're going to need to bundle up. We're only tracking those feels like temperatures staying below freezing all day, feeling like those 20s by 2 o'clock this afternoon. And we'll slowly start to get a little bit better towards Tuesday morning as those winds calm down a little bit. But it is going to be very cold as we look towards tonight as well. This is when we expect that hard freeze. Overnight tonight into Tuesday morning, our temperatures will be falling into the low 20s and into the teens for your Tuesday morning commute. So the cold is going to be sticking around for today into tomorrow. That's why we had those first alert weather dates in place as well. Notice it's temporary. We'll slowly start to be back into the low 60s by this upcoming week, and then into the weekend, upper 60s with a few isolated showers possible.
All right, Belle, thanks so much. Last night, in a rare weekend vote, the Senate voted to approve a funding bill. It was a 60-40 vote, with 8 Democrats crossing the aisle. The government is still shut down for now, though. Any senator could still delay the package, and it has yet to be approved by the House. And here's a closer look at that deal. It does not extend Obamacare subsidies, which was one of the main reasons for the shutdown and a reason most Democrats oppose the bill. It does include a vote on these subsidies early next month, though. It funds a lot of the government through January and SNAP through September. And for federal workers, it ensures shutdown back pay and reverses recent mass firings. It also prohibits any more this fiscal year. We're going to continue to follow this for you. We'll bring you those updates right here on air and inside your WVLT News app. As progress may be happening in getting the government back open, the shutdown is still causing chaos at airports across the country. Some of it spilling over right here into East Tennessee, with some canceled flights and a few delayed flights. McGee Tyson, if you're worried about your flight, airlines suggest keeping an eye on your app and making sure you're staying up to date. As for the rest of the country, according to FlightAware, more than 2,900 flights were canceled yesterday, with more than 10,000 delayed. Ripple effects all after the FAA ordered flight cuts at dozens of the nation's busiest airports. The FAA's 4% reduction is expected to rise to 6% tomorrow and 10% by Friday. Just under a week ago, a tragedy impacted Kentucky, a UPS plane going down in a fiery crash, killing now confirmed 14 people, 3 members of the crew and 11 people who were on the ground. Investigators say the plane's left engine detached from it during takeoff. The Federal Aviation Administration says the same problem likely exists or may develop in planes with the same design. Authorities don't know why the left engine fell off the plane, but they say they are grounding the fleet of MD-11 cargo planes out of an abundance of caution. Legal experts say this is a step the FAA doesn't typically take.
In the 1,000 plane crashes that happen every year, the FAA issues one of these emergency grounding directives, maybe once, maybe 0 times in any given year. So if the FAA is taking this action, then clearly they believe that a potential part of what led to this accident wasn't just maintenance and wasn't just the action of the pilots.
MD-11s make up nearly 10% of the UPS air fleet. FedEx says the plane makes up 4% of its fleet, and the NTSB says their full investigation into what caused the crash could take more than a year. WVLT is proud to be your official station on the Vols. The basketball Vols men's team taking care of business Saturday afternoon inside Food City Center. They beat Northern Kentucky 95-56. Freshman Nate Ament leading the Vols with 23 points. Senior transfer Jacoby Gillespie adding 20 more. The Vols are back in action Wednesday night hosting North Florida. And the 8th-ranked Lady Vols basketball team now 2-1 after holding off an upset-minded UT Martin team on the road. This one tied at the half thanks to some hot shooting from 3 by the Skyhawks. The Lady Vols able to get a little bit of separation after the break, though. Rebounding and second chance points, a big reason for that. Tennessee wins it 72-61. Up next, a home game against Belmont on Thursday night. The Vols did not play over the weekend, but that didn't stop them from moving in the rankings. The latest AP poll out this morning shows the Vols up 2 spots, now 21st in the country. Tennessee is waiting to see where they stand in the college football playoff poll, which will be released tomorrow. Last week, they just barely made that poll, landing 25th. Head coach Josh Heupel will be speaking live right here inside your WVLT News app today at 12:15 as the Vols get ready to face New Mexico State this Saturday afternoon. And we're hearing from the caregivers of former Vols mascot Smokey 10 for the first time since receiving some devastating news. If you remember, at the end of October, we brought you the news that Smokey 10 had been diagnosed with cancer after a small mass was discovered on his kidney. Now, a few weeks later, his caregivers are still in shock about his diagnosis, but they say he is doing well, adding that his diet and mannerisms have not changed, and they're very thankful for that. They also say, quote, "We're extremely grateful for the UT Vet School for their amazing care of our precious Tenny."
We the People, celebrating 250 years of America. Sponsored by Garza Law Firm.
As As we lead up to our nation's 250th birthday, we're taking a look at historic moments on the days they happened in history. Speaking of birthdays, a big happy birthday to the Jarheads, the United States Marine Corps. On this date in 1775, the Second Continental Congress established the group. Marines have led the way on legendary battlefields in defense of our nation. The Marines are nicknamed the Devil Dogs, a name given to them by German soldiers who for their fierce fighting in World War I. The U.S. Marine Corps motto, Semper Fidelis, means always faithful. And thank you so much for joining us. Remember, you can stay up to date on WVLT.tv, inside your WVLT News app, and on WVLT social media pages. We're going to be right back here with your top headlines at noon.